Okay, officially starting the recording now. We have begun. Let me pull up my notes really quick.
We'll begin when I say we begin.
No.
And we begin.
We will begin now. Actually, when I say we begin. Haha.
No, we begin now.
Damn it.
My parents' favorite pastime is fighting.
Oh, boy. Okay. So, welcome. To my immediate right, I have Melissa.
Hello.
I guess everybody forgot how to talk on a microphone in like 5 seconds. Jose, what you got to say on the far right? Just going to laugh into the microphone, huh?
Hola.
Yeah. Oh, okay. E3 has begun.
And it's almost over.
And it's almost over. As quick as it arrived. So we record.
We're like halfway through it, right?
Yeah, as of today, we are officially halfway through. 50%, as some would say.
Okay.
Me and Jose did an E3 predictions thing, but the audio was trash-tastic, so we couldn't release it.
Yep.
So we're going to try again today, and we're going to talk about the EA conference, the Microsoft conference, and the Bethesda conference.
Yep. Let's get the predictions out of the way. Just a quick rundown of what they were for you and me.
I think for the conferences that have already happened, we should just let it go.
Okay, that's fair.
I think we'll get to the ones that haven't happened yet after we talk about the ones that have already happened.
I will say one thing. We did a segment where we threw out crazy-ass ideas. So remember the Death Jam idea that I had with all the anime characters?
Def. D-E-F.
Def Jam, I'm sorry.
Not Death Jam.
I'm sorry.
That might be
Whatever.
a different game.
There's an anime game coming out.
Oh, I know. Yep. I saw that shit. We'll talk about that. So we're going to start with the EA conference because there's the least to say about this one. Just because they didn't really show a whole lot of shit and they didn't show a whole lot of things in depth. Mm-hmm. First, they came out and they showed Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know how you guys feel about the Battlefield franchise. I was never particularly into it because I didn't like the camping situations that you tend to run into. You will get picked off from fucking anywhere in that game, and it kind of makes it annoying. What they did announce with it was Battlefield 5 Battle Royale.
Interesting.
Which I think could actually be really interesting, and it's actually the only FPS franchise that we initially talked about that actually announced a Battle Royale mode. There was rumors that Halo was going to. There was rumors that Gears of War was going to as well. But yeah, that was the only one that actually announced a Battle Royale mode, which I find... Everyone started flipping out about it. They were like, I'm so sick of Battle Royale. And it's just like...
Weren't all the rumors...
in right now.
It's in on top of the fact that, guys, this genre has really been around for like, what, maybe a year?
Right.
Year and a half at most. Like, give it some... It's
time to grow, dude.
I hope it's a mode that takes over. I don't really hope that there's just one after another of a random IP Battle Royale game.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Is because they're already announcing other Battle Royale games.
I just wish it was like a mode that you can enter, you know?
Well, and it probably will be. I don't think traditional FPS or third-person shooters are going to fucking go anywhere. I just think Battle Royale is going to be the poppin' thing for a while.
Mm-hmm.
My Little Pony Battle Royale.
My Little Pony Battle Royale. That'd be fucking sick. Just beat the shit out of Fluttershy. Just fucking elbow dropper. So then after that, shout out to GameSpot giving us the notes here because I really honestly didn't take notes for you.
I have a friend that works there.
You have a friend that works at GameSpot? No shit.
GameSpot.
Right on. Shout out.
Love you, see him.
So the next game they talked about was FIFA 19. Look, hold on. Time out, sir. Did we not have many Let's Plays that went unreleased that were actually of super fun FIFA games?
Yeah, dude, announcing FIFA 19th at E3 is like...
But it's EA. What the fuck else are they going to do?
I don't know. I don't give a shit.
What else are they going to do?
I don't give a shit. Do something. Announcing... am I wrong on this? It's like, you know...
No, that's the games that they release, man.
I've literally never played any sports games.
Well, no. Look, listen. I understand that this is one of their big things. I'm just saying, announcing E3 is kind of just like talking to the air, talking to the wall. It's like, yeah, we know you're gonna do one,
but they're not.
It's like you do it every year.
But you have to understand, they're not necessarily. The people in the room are going to get psyched about that.
That's
fine.
And
the people who are watching their conference are more than likely going to get psyched about that, unless they're watching for just Star Wars, in which they walked away very disappointed. So let me go through the sports games. They talk about Madden NFL 19 and they talk about NBA Live 19. Basically, NBA Live is stealing the My Team mode and calling it My Squad.
Interesting.
And yeah, they've stolen the whole thing. And Madden 19 is coming to PC.
I made this.
So it's coming to PC. So that's the sports news. The next we'll talk about Unravel 2.
That looked interesting.
Adorable.
The first game, from what I understand, was very good, and they pulled a bait and switch on you. They were like, "Oh, by the way, Unravel 2, it's out today."
Oh shit!
Yep, and everyone in the crowd went, "Oh!" Like,
Ryan!
Honey, get on the Xbox.
get on the Xbox. We have a co-op game to play. And yeah, it was. It looked interesting. I'd be willing to give it a try. I never played the first one. I heard it was
so cute.
I heard it was extremely cute. So I'm ready to give that a try. So the next thing that they talk about is the new Respawn Entertainment Star Wars game. Respawn Entertainment, for those who don't know, Titanfall 2, very, very good games. They announced Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
So it's Star Wars Jedi : Fallen Order. Back in the day, there was a series called Star Wars Jedi Knight, starring one Mr. Kyle Katarn, a fallen Jedi, and a lot of it, from what I understand, kind of took place between Episode 7 and what we currently are in now. They don't consider it canon anymore, but Kyle Katarn was a super, super popular character. So I think this would honestly probably be a good chance to reintroduce him if they were ever going to do that.
Right.
And I honestly was really hoping for a lightsaber-heavy Star Wars game to come out, because there hasn't been one since the new game announcements have been made.
Right.
So I'm actually very excited about that. What do you both think about that?
That sounds cool. We don't have much to go on.
No.
It just sounds cool.
More interesting if the lightsaber sounds were just Owen Wilson saying "Wow."
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Everybody hates the Jedis now. So Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out, and they were like, hey, guys, listen, we had a rough start.
We'll make it up to you guys. We promise.
And so they announced a bunch of returning modes that are super cool for Battlefront 2 fans, I'm sure. But they also finally announced that they're adding Clone Wars DLC. They said they're adding Geonosis and new planets, and there's going to be continual additions from there. They announced new heroes and villains.
Okay.
General Grievous, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker. They also announced Count Dooku, and when they said General Grievous, people were like, oh! They said Obi-Wan, and people went crazy, and then they were like, Count Dooku, silence. Silence.
We don't talk about the count.
So good.
They're just like, you could have picked literally anyone else. I thought they were going to put Sidious on there. They were like, the Dark Lord of the Sith. And I was like, oh shit, it's going to be Darth Sidious. That's cool. And they were like, Count Dooku. And I was like, why'd you just shoot yourself in the foot like that? Like, you just...
You're like, never mind.
Was he to the pond to the pond?
Yeah, he was the pawn of the pawn of the pawn. Like,
Yeah.
he literally, like, he was surprised when Sidious gave him up and was like, kill him. Kill him now.
Well,
He was like, wait, what? Hold on. What are you talking about?
Take a tea. Hold on.
I'm in my prime years. I just turned 75. So
That's like 20 in Yoda years.
So they announced EA Origin Access, which is their new streaming service, where you're going to be able to stream games.
Isn't that what they have now?
No, you get to download games.
Oh.
The model is changing. Apparently now they've noticed that streaming is easier, or I don't know if it's... Let me rephrase that, because I don't want to put words in people's mouths.
Okay.
I don't know if easier is the right word, but streaming seems to be where they're going with it, I think because it's easier to deliver to people
Gotcha.
than having to download something's like, you have to download this file, and instead, how about you just have this service where you can just stream the games? And we'll get to another streaming thing, because we're going to talk about Games Pass, too.
Oh.
Go ahead.
That's fair, but if you don't have a reliable internet connection, how are you going to do that?
Here's the thing. Most people who are going to be doing something like this already have a reliable internet connection.
No, yeah, I understand.
And traditional games are not going anywhere.
All I'm saying is I hope there's still the download option for them.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't really care about the Origins thing. I'm just saying I hope there's still the download option.
And I think there will be. I don't think they're going to get rid of that completely. But they're definitely, streaming is where they want to go, and I think it's because it gets to the most platforms the quickest.
Right.
They announced Command & Conquer Rivals, which people shit themselves over, because they turned Command & Conquer into a fucking mobile tapper.
No.
And it went from
surprise.
Yeah, it went from strategy game extraordinaire that everyone was fucking like, I want a new Command & Conquer game, to now it's just a mobile tapper. And people are like, what the fuck is this?
It's the year of the mobile, it seems.
It's always been because here's the thing. They've realized now, oh, well, they'll probably play that anyways. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Like they keep asking for it. We'll just give it to them on mobile.
We'll give them a taste, and if this does well, we might tease them with the carrot of we'll make another Command and Conquer game. We swear. Like
it's not a bad idea. I mean, this is like the proving grounds, I guess. If you have enough of a fan base, sure, why not?
I mean, what they could have done, and this is what they did for Crash. They just remade the games,
right?
And we're just like, here you go, play them,
right?
If you like these, this will probably get you another Crash game at some point,
right?
Same thing with Spyro. So they could have just remade the original Command and Conquer, but they decided, fuck it, we're EA. Pay to win, mobile tapper. Let's do it.
Right.
So they announced a couple EA Originals games from Newsweek.com. The other Originals title was Unravel 2, so we only have one more. It's called Sea of Solitude.
Sea of Thieves, you mean?
No,
for real, this is the first time of hearing this. Hold on.
Sea of Solitude, it actually looks really cool. I'm going to play the trailer on mute just so we don't fuck up the audio and shit. But it looks rad. It looks creepy as fuck. They're watching the Sea of Solitude trailer right now. It looks really interesting. I really love the art style. Cell-shaded-esque will always kind of get me. And especially if it's some like creepy repressed goth kid shit.
Yeah, that's the bird from Legend of Zelda.
From Last Guardian, you mean? The bird dog?
I know what I said.
See, this looks filthy. And then you got the seas parting. Like
this does remind me of The Last Guardian and shit.
I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe took a few cues, but this looks pretty cool.
Sea of Solitude.
Sea of Solitude. Lots of 2019 games this year. Go figure. We'll get to that in a second. That pretty much wraps up the EA conference. They talked about the other thing they talked about. You will be interested in this. Anthem, the new BioWare game.
Oh yeah, I've seen something about that.
They announced it's not an MMO.
Oh.
They were like, nope, this is not an MMO. We don't want you to think that. They didn't announce what it is beyond that, but they were just like, look, it's not an MMO. And essentially what it looks like to me is, so you get your suit and you change your suits depending on what you need to do. Your Iron Man suits, essentially. There's the big one for like big, heavy artillery and stuff like that. There's one for storms because the weather system is dynamic. There's one for going underwater, and I think there's one for just traditional, just getting around and shit. But basically what happens is while you're doing missions, you'll just run into people who are playing the game. And you squad up and you take care of combat together. So basically it's just Combat Journey.
Combat Journey?
Where it's like in Journey where you would be, when you would be on the trail, you would just run into players.
Yeah.
And they could join you, or they could separate, or you could handle your business separately and be in the same area, just kind of depending on how much you wanted to interact with each other.
Right.
And it
stab in the back once or twice.
You can't really stab in the back. At times you could find like multiple people roaming together at the same time. You couldn't squad up and get like 4 people going. You would see like it would be you 2, and then maybe you'd look over to the left and there'd be like 2 more, and then beyond that you could see 2 more moving. So it's kind of like, so it's a little different, and they're trying to expand on the concept, but it looks really cool.
It does look.
And I'm willing to give it a try. I love BioWare games. Like most people, I was not super into Andromeda. I'm not super into the UI either. That when you shoot people, they have damage markers. Video games, stop doing that. It's distracting. I don't like it. But what they did announce is that anything you destroy in this game will not show up for the rest of your playthrough.
Oh,
so if you're in an area and you blow some shit up, it'll just be gone for the rest of your playthrough. So that's super cool. And the flying looks like it's serious flying. Like it's not just, it's hovering. Like you can speed up, you can do that kind of shit. Like we're watching gameplay footage right now. You can like do corkscrews in the air and shit. Watch this shit. Bang. Just dived right into the water. Seamless.
We all live in the yellow
submarine.
Yeah, that aspect of it is just like running into the random people and be like, "Hey, yo, let's help each other out." Is really, really cool to me.
And I like that more games are going with that, because that's an easy way to integrate multiplayer without it being super intrusive.
Yeah.
Because you just run into people playing the game. It feels natural. And if that's how multiplayer or co-op playing progresses, I'd be totally cool with that.
I don't know. I've had one too many bad experiences with things like that.
Oh.
Just minding my own business, someone kills me.
Oh, Jose died in a video game.
Fuck you.
I'm sorry, buddy. I love you. I love you in real life. That's where the love matters. That's
until he kills you.
Yeah, until I kill you.
In the video game.
Listen. That's pretty much it for EA's conference. It was interesting, but it was very much like your traditional press conference. And it was just like, all right, this could have been better. The Anthem section could have been better, too, because they could have explained things. It was them getting interviewed, and it was just like, I would much rather just watch 20 minutes of just straight gameplay.
Yeah.
And just have someone narrate over that. That would be much, much more interesting.
That's when you know they don't really understand. It's like, I don't give a shit what you got to say about the game. Let the game speak for itself.
And it's not even that I don't give a shit, because they're the developers. They made it. It's interesting. You know what I mean? And I like seeing those guys talk about it. But at the same time, you got to find better ways to present it. So we're going to jump to the Microsoft conference now, which happened earlier today. I was very excited for this one.
Me too.
Because we were talking about it, and Microsoft is in a very interesting place right now where they don't have any controversy that they have to battle back from.
Right.
They don't have an upgraded system that they're trying to announce.
Correct.
And all it really is for them at this point is about the games. And they've been trying to get that way for the last few years.
And then he teased it with saying 15 games are going to be...
Not just 15 games. So let me tell you what they... So this is after they announced the new Halo game. They didn't show anything for it, but they announced it. Mm-hmm. The conference will feature 50 games, including 18 exclusives and 15 world premieres.
Holy shit.
And they lived up to it. I have the entire list out to here, or written out here. If I wanted to, it would probably count to 50. So it opens with the new Halo game.
Right.
And at first, you don't know what the fuck is going on. Because
Right.
it's just shots of wildlife. And it's like, this is in-game engine. You know, it's still a work in progress, but this is what the engine looks like. It just shows different wildlife, but they aren't normal animals. So it's like, what the fuck is going on? And then it shows a squad of 4 walk out of the water. But you couldn't tell immediately that it was like, oh, these are Spartans or ODST. It was just kind of like, what the fuck? And then they dropped a flare, and it kind of started panning out, and you saw that they were in the armor. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, shit. And then it keeps panning out, and it shows Chief is standing there without his helmet on. Mm-hmm. And you don't see his face. You just see the helmet hanging down there. And then it just says, Halo Infinite. And then they hop into a thing and just start driving. So here's my thought. What if they made an open-world Halo game? Oh. A non-linear open-world Halo game where you get to explore all the planets you have to go to.
That would be really...
Like No Man's Sky?
Kind of like exactly like No Man's Sky. And it's this infinite universe that, because it would make sense. There's infinite rings or whatever. They didn't call it Halo 6 for a reason. So they're doing something really specific with it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. But
John's back.
Huh?
Master Chief's back.
Yeah, he's back. But that doesn't necessarily mean you don't play as him. They said it's a Master Chief story, but they didn't say this is Halo 6. They said this is Halo Infinite. We're trying something new. And, we'll...
really fucking new.
Yeah, and we'll reveal more as it goes on. Mm-hmm. So Phil Spencer comes out and talks for a little bit. He gives the dick flute solo to gamers, and it's nice. You know what I mean? He's like, none of this would happen without you, and it's just like, all right, man. And he threw a shot at like 10-hour games. He's like, I like playing games that are more than 10 hours. It's like, bro, shut the fuck up. Like, no, and so we'll get to that. I'll jump back to that in a second. But it's like, in a world where the Telltale games exist. The Life is Strange games exist. Do we really have to have this stupid-ass argument that games have to be 60 hours
to be good
in order to be good? Come on,
and
man.
Impactful.
You know what I mean? Like, the shorter the experience, the more impactful, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Like, if it's too long, you wind up getting...
You're just burnt out.
You get burnt out, especially if there's not enough to do. Like, that's the difference between a game like God of War and a game like... I'm trying to think of it. And a game like Mafia 3. Mafia 3 is a big-ass fucking world that you can freely go around in, but there is not shit to do in that game. You do the same shit over and over again. Drive here, kill these guys, drive this vehicle there, escort this person, sneak into this area where they call you the N-word a bunch of times. Like, it's the same shit over and over again. But God of War is packed and is dense, and there's a lot of different shit to do. Yeah. And that's how, if you're going to do a big 60-hour game, that's what it's got to be. But if you shorten that, it can actually make it, like, if you shorten Mafia 3 to about 15 to 20 hours, that would have been game of the year for some people because the story mode is so good and condensed and well written that. Anyways, moving on. I'll cut part of that out. So we get to our first new exclusive, and it's Ori and the Will of the Wisps. It's a new Ori and the Blind Forest game.
Oh,
Which did you play that game?
It's so cute.
Oh, and this one looks fucking precious as well. They're raising some sort of owl hybrid baby.
Oh my god.
And the game looks fucking gorgeous. It's ridiculous.
It is a beautiful, beautiful game.
And they announced a 2019 release date for Ori 2.
nice.
Honestly, the first 2 months of 2019 are getting to the point where it's fucking packed.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts in January, at the end of January.
Happy birthday, Timmy.
Crackdown 3, apparently. Ori is also slated for February. There was another February game too, but I don't quite remember which one. So, From Software, the team that created Dark Souls and Bloodborne, announced their new game called, I have the name for it right here. Forgive me for potentially pronouncing this wrong. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Which, remember that Ghost of Tsushima game I was telling you about?
Yeah.
So this is also a samurai game about a samurai that was killed and comes back to life. And so this made me think of this. Remember back in the late 2000s, there was this series that came out called Prototype?
I do not. There was a lot of cocaine when I was 10.
In the late 2000s, you were 10 years old?
Oh, late 2000s. Damn it. Let's cut that out. Yes, I remember fucking Prototype.
All right, so you remember Prototype. You remember Infamous as well?
Yeah.
And remember how they were really similar games that came out on two different... Prototype came out on both of them, and I think Shadows Die Twice is going to come out on both of them too. I don't remember if it said that one was exclusive or not. Oh, shit. Hold on. I went to my wrong notes. I got confused. But yeah, so that game looks really fucking good. It looks really interesting. You have a prosthetic arm that transforms into different weapons as necessary. Sometimes it's like an axe, and
Are you talking about Prototype, or are you talking about the new game?
the Shadows Die Twice.
Okay.
Oh, anyway, yeah. To finish my point, sorry. Like I said, I had a couple glasses of wine during the Bethesda conference. So they basically just released two similar games again on two different platforms that almost seem like they're directly competing with each other, but they're not actually saying it. Which the last time this happened was pretty much the greatest running games from that point on. Xbox was on fire for the entire back half of their run. Same thing with PlayStation 3. The fact that they're directly competing with each other means good things for me.
Right.
Which is another thing that we talked about on the failed E3 predictions. So have you played Dark Souls, right?
No.
No?
I refuse to put myself through that.
Didn't you play Dark Souls? We knew someone.
No, I want to.
We knew someone who played Dark Souls religiously.
I have
Chris,
a
maybe?
friend that does.
We all know that one person.
Yeah, that one dude. But yeah, Shadows Die Twice looks really interesting. I'm excited to check that out, and it says it's coming out in 2019. Another 2019 game. Todd Howard comes out and talks about Fallout 76. This is where they said that it's 4 times the size of Fallout 4. But we're going to get a little bit more into that when we get to the Bethesda conference. They also announced that Fallout 4 is on Game Pass, which we'll get to Game Pass in a little bit. Another premiere, they fucking teased me, these bastards. They started playing the fucking shitty little guitar music that kind of sounds like a broken ukulele. And I was like, oh shit. They're fucking announcing Life is Strange 2. And I sat there and I got so fucking excited. And they announced that it's another spin-off set in the Life is Strange universe called The Adventures of Captain Spirit. And it's about a 10-year-old boy who lost his mom and lives with his dad now, who's an alcoholic. Is that your thoughts on the game? Just a fat yawn off mic?
Sorry.
And he doesn't have any friends, and basically the idea is that it's from what I can tell, it's like a Life is Strange game where you're entirely by yourself, and you're just you're living this kid's fantasies as he plays in his backyard.
Oh my god, I am not ready.
I know
not ready.
That sounds so fucking adorable, and I'm not
adorable, more like heartbreaking.
Oh, it's it sounds, the game looks precious, just completely precious. And I'm ready to try it out. I'm very disappointed that they didn't announce Life is Strange 2, which means to me that they have to be doing something big. Because the problem that the original Life is Strange ran into is apparently near the end, no one could confirm this for sure or not, but apparently they ran into budget issues that caused them to have to change the ending of the game. They were going to do something completely different, and then that led to the more controversial ending that fans of Life is Strange are aware of. Save the Bay.
I don't.
Save Chloe. If you did anything other than save Chloe, you're a heartless monster.
Haven't played these games.
But yeah, I'm very excited. We'll play Life is Strange on the show now that they announced a new game set in that universe. I think that one's coming out in 2019 as well. Crackdown 3. They're like, hey, Crackdown 3, everybody. And no one made a noise. They're just like, yeah, fuck you guys.
Just release it already.
We've been waiting on this game since 2014. What the fuck is going on here? And they showed more gameplay, and they're hanging on to the Terry Crews thing. Remember they announced Terry Crews is going to be the mascot. They're still hanging on to that pretty tight.
Whatever.
You know what the vibe I'm getting from this? Remember Volition Games? The Saints Row people?
Oh.
Who also made the Red Faction games? Did you ever play those?
Not Red Faction,
No
no.
idea.
It reminds me of that because it looks so goofy.
Of Saints?
Yeah. It reminds me of Saints Row because it's so fucking goofy.
Oh, Saints Row.
Well,
Okay.
Crackdown was goofy to begin with, though.
Crackdown was... No, I wouldn't say Crackdown was
You could
goofy.
pick up a fucking car and throw it at people.
But it wasn't portrayed as like, oh, fucking, it's so awesome. It was just like, you just did it. It was just like, oh yeah, now you can lift up cars and throw shit. Like it was goofy, but it wasn't leaning into it. Where this one seems like it's leaning super hard into it, which can either mean really good things for the franchise or means that...
Saints Row 3.
No, I love Saints Row 3. How dare you?
It was really goofy.
It was super goofy, but it was hilarious. And after the second one was so fucking dark. Your homeboy got dragged through the street on the back of a tow truck, and you had to mercy kill him.
I don't remember
What
that
the
shit.
fuck?
You put a dude's girlfriend in the trunk in a monster truck rally and just waited for her to get squished.
Don't remember that
sounds
shit.
Fucked up.
The Saints Row 2 was super dark. And you buried one dude alive. You buried a dude alive in a grave while he begged you not to. Like, the game got dark. Like, they kind of had to switch it up. I understand why they did that.
Awful.
They announced the Game of the Year edition for Nier Automata coming to Xbox One X with all the DLC. You played that game, didn't you, Jose?
It's fun. I mean, yeah, but it's just like the game's out already.
You like me?
Well.
Schmee.
This was the other February one. They showed the new Metro title.
What?
You remember Metro Last Light?
Oh. They said Metroid. I was like, Metroid on Xbox? What the fuck are you talking about?
So they announced a new Metro game, just so no one thinks I said
Like the
Metroid, called Metro Exodus. It looks really fucking cool. It kind of looks open world. They didn't really say. I'm not 100% sure.
You ever played any of the Metro games? I don't.
I've heard nothing but good things about them.
Me too, but I just never had the want to play them. I don't know why. Melissa?
No, I've never played them.
Yeah. This one looks really fucking cool.
Is it Exodus because you finally just get out of the train station and go?
Well, it's Exodus because you're on the train. You're on the train now, and you're getting off, and you're fighting people and shit.
Oh, okay.
It looked filthy. It looked
Right.
really fucking cool. Like there's a point where they showed this giant bat creature that comes down and attacks you and like picks you up and fucking carries you over the map and shit. Like it looks fucking cool. I'm definitely interested in checking that one out. They announced that for February 2019 as well. Again, looking like a very full month,
Yeah.
full few weeks this February.
You think that's because of Red Dead? Everything just kind of got pushed.
I think Nintendo has some shit for people in the fall. Hey Holmes, you ever have your shit pushed in, man?
Oh my god.
That's from Training Day. I think Nintendo has some shit for people that people are not anticipating that all the other game companies know about already.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, that people are not going to be ready for. So jumping to the next game, they show Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yes.
Fuck yes. I was so fucking excited when they showed this shit off. I thought I was going to have to wait until the Sony conference.
So many like salty people like, wow, pushing it off again. But it has an actual release date.
It's got Frozen in it.
And
it's got Frozen.
I didn't see that.
It's got Tangled. It's the newer Disney movies. So it's going to be Toy Story, it's going to be like the Pixar stuff and the 3D animated movies. I know Hercules is going to be in it. They'll probably have other old worlds too. They said they would. Mm-hmm. You have a thought, it looks like?
I think I just killed her dreams.
I just got less excited.
Oh, wow.
They had to go on the Frozen hype train.
Melissa,
they just had to.
Listen.
Whatever.
Let it go.
Yeah, let it go. Just admit you enjoy the movie.
Please ignore the sounds that are coming up next. I'm going to strangle Jose and James.
That's probably why it was delayed so long. They probably had everything planned out. Everything was good to go, but then Disney went, listen, love what you're doing.
Really love all these old movies that we aren't doing anything with, but Frozen. Tangled.
I literally cried when I saw that.
Moana might be in there.
Had an actual date, like not just like sometime in this year.
Yeah,
but January 29th, 2019.
Incredibles 2 coming out. It's gonna get pushed back again.
The Incredibles 2? You think it's gonna get pushed out?
No, Kingdom Hearts is gonna get pushed out because Incredibles 2 is coming out.
Oh shit.
That's why it keeps getting delayed.
The gameplay for Kingdom Hearts 3 that they did show looked really cool.
Oh my god,
it looked like
so good.
It looked like traditional Kingdom Hearts shit. I'm so here for it. Again, I just love how like so many animes try to make adaptations of their games, and Kingdom Hearts is the only game that actually feels like an anime that's a video game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it just accomplishes the feeling better than any other anime game out there. And I'm so excited to see what they do. Especially, people loved Final Fantasy 15. So I'm all for giving Square time to make their fucking game. Like, Tetsuya Nomura obviously knows what he's doing. I mean, the guy did create Final Fantasy 7. So they came out with some Sea of Thieves shit. They announced 2 new DLC packs, Forsaken Shores, which looks like a volcanic island, which looks cool. And then they announced Cursed Sails, that is like, I think it's a cursed ship that just roams the seas and tries to attack you, like a roaming boss, basically.
Interesting.
I don't know. They didn't really get into specifics.
I'm just one man, please.
But it looked good. It looked interesting.
Bueno.
So they showed Battlefield 5 again. Fuck out of here with that shit. And then exclusive world premiere Forza Horizon 4.
Again, that's like the EA shit.
I fucking love the Forza games.
I know you do.
They are fucking amazing. And I'm so ready for Forza Horizon 4 because shared world.
What's that?
So now you play with every user, like we were talking about with Anthem. So now you're essentially just driving around in this big open world with a bunch of fucking street racers. And you can get into races, you can squat up and just drive around and shit. There's dynamic weather that unlocks more areas on the map depending on the season.
Huh. That's pretty cool.
So hold on, before we go anywhere, I had an idea while I was driving here.
Okay.
I don't know if we should save this for the crazy idea at the end or not.
Okay.
But
just say it and we'll either edit it out and if we have to save it or not.
Horizon Pod Racing.
Oh my god. We have to save that for the end. We're cutting that out. So they pulled a good one. October 2nd, 2018, Forza Horizon 4. Very excited. That one's going to be a good one. I like the Horizon games a little bit more than the mainline Forza Motorsport games because I like the cross-country aspect. There's something... I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the inner straight boy in me, but the idea But the idea of getting like the biggest, fanciest sports car you can find and just driving through the European countryside sounds pretty fucking filthy.
Charles, get my bags.
Get my bags, Charles. We will be going. So Phil Spencer comes back out and announces new studio acquisitions.
Yeah.
Which this is actually kind of a big deal. So they announced a brand new studio called The Initiative, led by a former Crystal Dynamics head.
Sounds like a cult.
The Initiative sounds like a cold.
Yes.
Yeah, I could see that.
How does that sound like a cold?
The Initiative.
That doesn't sound like a cold at all. I'm not trying to be an asshole here. I swear to God. I just don't see where you're.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that the okay?
Are you saying cold or cult? Oh, cult. I thought you were saying cold like a flu. Oh, I was like, that doesn't sound like a flu at all. What are you talking?
Like you get knocked in, or whatever. You pledge to these people. I don't know.
You pledge the Initiative.
What do you do to a cult? I don't know.
The Initiative does sound like a game. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like its own game. It's just like, did you buy a game or did you buy a studio? They announced Undead Labs. They acquired them for State of Decay.
Okay.
They announced they acquired Playground Games, which develops Forza,
okay.
which I would have thought they had done that already. But they also hinted that Playground Games is making another open world game that has nothing to do with the Forza games. So they have them working on something else now. A lot of people, I've heard tale, think that it's a new Fable.
Oh, shit.
Oh. Because they did talk. So here's a big.
Hold on. Didn't a Fable get announced recently or
Fable
teased?
Fable Legends, and they canceled it.
Because
they didn't like how it was turning out. So a lot of people think they're just going to full-scale reboot Fable. They also announced that they acquired Ninja Theory.
Yeah.
This also lends credence to, I think, the Fable remake idea.
Okay.
Because do you know what Phil Spencer said when he brought up Ninja Theory? He was like, we've worked with these games for a long time, since the original Xbox when they created Kung Fu Chaos. And the crowd they were like, oh shit! And I was sitting on the couch like, oh fucking shit! I fucking loved Kung Fu Chaos as a kid. That game was great. And the fact that they specifically they were like, oh yeah, they said we want to bring back franchises that people love and are. Oh, I'm interested in checking this out. Franchises people love and are familiar with Xbox, and then they name dropped Kung Fu Chaos and said that Playground Games is working on a brand new open world game. And they also announced that they acquired Compulsion Games, which are the developers for We Happy Few.
Didn't that get canned?
No, it's been in early access for a while, and they've been slowly building out the world. And this is why I wanted to wait to talk about Gearbox. Gearbox announced with the trailer for We Happy Few that they're publishing this one.
Oh.
I think that Gearbox is kind of. I think you're right. They took the Battleborn on the chin, and they were like, "All right, sorry guys, we fucked up. My bad." So they've been hiding, and I think they're going to release We Happy Few. And when that gets great reviews, because all games like that tend to, then they're going to be like, "Guess what, fuckers?
We're back.
Borderlands.
We never went anywhere, but we're back."
Borderlands 3. They showed PUBG.
Battleborn 2.
They showed PUBG, and
2 new maps or 3 or whatever it is.
3 new maps. And you know what I thought when I was watching this? Man, if only PUBG actually looked this good on the Xbox. If only it ran this smooth and looked this good.
It actually looks a lot better on the Xbox now.
Yeah, it's gotten better.
I picked it up and it looks a lot better.
I don't know.
It plays like shit now, but it looks a lot better.
See, and that's the other problem. It has.
They added this weird mechanic where you have to basically run if you want to walk forward fast. Either that or it's just you're like kind of crawling by. I haven't figured it out yet. Maybe it's just something I'm doing wrong.
That's so weird.
But it's like you're just kind of walking by. You can't really like do the fast pace walk anymore.
Maybe you should just play on PC.
Maybe I might.
By the way, the Sam and Dave cover of Hold On, I'm Coming that they were playing during this trailer, that wasn't it. You guys should have picked something else. You disgraced that. That was disgusting. Just wanted to get that out there.
I thought this is the song. I don't know what he's talking about.
They announced Tales of Vesperia, Definitive Edition, which was a classic RPG that was on the Xbox. I don't know shit about it.
I don't know shit about it either.
But Tales of Vesperia?
Tales of Asparagus.
Asparagus. They showed Division 2 set in Washington, D.C. Division 2 actually looks pretty fucking filthy. I'm not going to lie.
The Division games look
Filthy
cool.
dog.
It looks filthy.
But
and the gameplay looked really cool. I'd be interested in giving this one a try with the beta. You know what I mean?
Know what I'm saying?
you know what I'm saying, dog?
Maybe if... why are you guys making fun of me?
Hey, Holmes.
You know what I'm saying?
I will elbow drop all of you.
Break it
You ain't
early.
gonna do shit.
And again, very full first few months of 2019. March 15th, 2019 is their release date they announced for Division 2. Very full.
Spicy.
Very, very full. So the head of Games Pass, Ashley Spiker, comes out. I had to spell her name fucked up because of the way she had it spelled. There was like a P, C, H's and shit. I wasn't spelling that right.
Spiker.
So I wasn't spelling that right and saying it right later. They announced the Fast Start program, which is 2 times faster loading for your games. So, and the idea is that it learns your habits of what you play, and it diverts more starting power to those games,
Oh,
which I actually thought was really cool.
that sounds interesting.
It's learning the priorities of the games you like to play.
Hi, James. I'm your Xbox.
It doesn't talk to you.
I know what you like.
It doesn't talk to you. So thank God for that. They also announced that Forza Horizon 4 and Crackdown 3 will be available on Game Pass the same day as the global release.
That's not anything big. They already said that.
Did they already say that? When?
Yeah, they said that all the fucking exclusives are coming to Game Pass.
Yeah, but they didn't specifically announce which ones.
No, they said all the exclusives.
They said they had exclusives for Game Pass. They didn't say all of the exclusives.
I could have sworn it was all
They
of them.
said they had exclusives. I don't think they said all of them. I could be totally wrong, and you could be absolutely right. I'm willing to say that.
just saying.
I'm willing to say that on microphone, but I don't remember them saying it like that.
Was it last E3 maybe? I don't know. Anyways. Moving on.
So a bunch of indie titles get announced. I'm going to read through a couple of these. Outer Wilds was announced. That game looks pretty cool.
Okay.
After Party was shown, which is a game about a pub crawl through hell.
Interesting.
That also sounds really cool. There's a handful of them. That Warhammer game you showed me, Warhammer Vermintide or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
They announced a sequel for that.
Dylan Sprouses has a voice.
Really? Right on.
Fun fact.
Zach.
They announced. Wasn't he Cole?
I don't give a
Or
fuck.
Cody. Cole was the brother. Cole was that brother's actual name.
Right. Cody and Zach. Zach
They
and
announced Golf Club 2019.
This is the sweet.
which is a new PGA game. Which to me, it's like if you're gonna announce, why would you announce that one amidst your titles of indie games?
But it's indie.
And there's one more that I want to.
Nobody gives a shit about golf.
There's one more that I want to talk about. It's called well, actually 3 more actually. They announced a Super Meat Boy sequel. Planet Alpha is a game that looks really pretty.
Okay.
And they announced another game called Harold Halibut, a handmade adventure.
What the fuck you say to me?
It's a fucking claymation side scroller.
That's so good.
It looks so fucking cool. I was more excited for
really
that.
cool idea.
I am honestly more excited for that than most of the shit that's left on the list.
Claymation freaks me the fuck out.
Claymation is so cool.
It's cool. Don't get me wrong. It freaks me the fuck out.
Green is not a creative color.
What?
Now you're thinking creatively.
Oh Jesus!
Don't hug me. I'm
Please
scared.
no.
I love Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. That's the greatest.
I hate them. I absolutely hate them.
They announced 22 new indie games. And honestly, with the titles that they're showing, it really feels like they're trying to get back to the Summer of Arcade, Xbox Live Arcade sort of, like we have shit on here that you want to buy that you're only going to be able to get here. Instead of like they'll come out with the one arcade game a year where it's like Inside. Yeah, that's great, but that was the last one you put out that was worth a shit.
Whatever happened to that pixel art indie game from I think last year or 2 years ago? That was an indie game as well. Was like Night something or. All right, moving on.
All right, we're going to move on from that. They announced a new skateboarding game.
Yeah, you call that one?
Not Skate 4, though.
Nope. Sessions.
It's called Session. It looks like a successor to Skate. I am so fucking excited for this.
He's wetting his pants as we speak.
Not really, but we need skateboarding games. You cannot have video games without a skateboarding game of some kind. It's
Goofy skateboarding.
It's a crime. I'll take Goofy skateboarding at this point. It's a fucking crime. And the fact that they haven't done anything with the Skate franchise in almost 10 years, another crime.
You think there's going to be hoverboards in this one?
That would be filthy.
Seriously, you think that would be cool?
I think that if they did it as like a unlockable board or something, like after you get through everything, just like, oh yeah, now you have a hoverboard. That would be, I'm not going to lie, that would be filthy.
You gotta charge it every 30 minutes.
They announced that the MMO. They announced. Oh, you were talking about like. I thought you were talking about like the Marty McFly.
No, I'm talking about the dumbass hoverboards, quote
The,
unquote.
no, I don't think those are going to show up.
Not even as a joke. Hey guys, look what I can do. That's cool.
They announced that the Black Desert MMO that you may have seen a lot of YouTube ads for
Never heard
is
of it.
coming to Xbox One X.
No.
I don't know what that is either. But here's the big one.
Okay.
Devil May Cry 5.
You called that one.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be at Sony. But they announced Devil May Cry 5. Nero's back. Dante's back. It looks like it takes place right after 4. They're not doing any more prequel shit.
Nero, where's Faro?
One of these days, I'm going to replace you fuckers with professionals.
I am a constant professional, so.
Shut the fuck up. They announced Cuphead DLC. Called,
I saw that.
And I need to play through the original Cuphead because that game looks fucking crazy. But this
They added a third player, it seems? Or what is that?
a third character by the look of it, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure what it is, but it looks very interesting. They announced another game called Tunic. It is this like little animatronic fox, I guess.
James.
Or not animatronic. It's like a little cell shaded fox. It kind of looks like an Animal Crossing character.
James.
What?
What does the fox say?
Ring, ding, 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 ding.
Sorry, continue.
Anyways,
Got him.
look, goddamn
What
it,
happens when you catch us after work?
we're already at 53 fucking minutes. All right. So the Cuphead thing that was cool. They announced a new anime crossover fighting game
Yeah.
called Jump Force.
Yeah.
And at the end, they showed Light and Ryu from Death Note.
What's your name? Goku?
Got to find the fucking 7 Dragon Balls.
Krillin! The Sensu beans!
The sensu beans. And so they showed it. It's like this destroyed city, and then they just showed Naruto fucking standing over the thing, and I was like, "Oh shit, are they gonna do a fucking in real life Naruto game?" Naruto's fucking running around the destroyed streets of Japan trying to take out the fucking.
It's another Life
the
is Strange.
Akatsuki.
It's another Life is Strange game, but it's some anime fan this time.
Son of a bitch. So you'll like this one, I think, because if I remember, you like this one. Dying Light 2 was announced.
Who?
You didn't like Dying Light 2?
I don't know
You didn't
what
like
Dying Light is.
You don't know what Dying Light is?
No,
you
I
played
don't
Dying
think
Light,
so.
right?
I haven't played it. I know what it is.
So Dying Light was an open world zombie game that had parkour mechanics similar to
Parkour. Oh yeah, I think I've.
to Mirror's
No, I've
Edge.
seen it, yeah.
And the idea was that you don't want to get caught outside at night because that's when the zombies are the most powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So in this one, they made it so now your choices affect things. So if you say you go to this faction that is withholding all the water within the city,
Mm-hmm.
and you work with the local, like the remnants of the local law enforcement to try to get the water back, and you kill all those dudes who are holding the water.
Mm-hmm.
Now, even though so you give them the water and people are living okay, but now the peacekeepers have taken over and they're basically brutalizing people if you try to stand against them. But if you decide to work with those guys, and then they start selling water on the black market, and it becomes a commodity, but it winds up destroying the city because it just brings in more and more bandits who are trying to get in where they fit in.
But where's my mobile game where I can trade on the side?
It's probably coming. So, all right, this is probably the biggest reveal of the entire Microsoft conference. They're making a new fucking Battletoads game.
Oh yeah.
A new 3-player couch co-op
3-player, huh?
Battletoads game.
Couldn't handle the 4th player, huh?
And I guess it's supposed to look like a comic book.
Interesting.
So,
Cool.
Oh, I guess there's only 3 toads, so
yeah, there's only 3 toads. So
Fuck me.
would
Damn
only
it,
be-
I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Stupid. Maybe if you were sitting over there thinking about games instead of making jokes. Just Cause 4 was announced. Everyone kind of saw that coming because the leaks came out for that. Plus, they'd been showing screenshots all day, so I figured they would either talk about it at the Square conference tomorrow or they're going to talk about it today.
So why they announce it? Just cuz.
You know what? I'm gonna take real pleasure in telling you this next one. They announced a Gears pop figure game. Go fuck yourself. Because you're.
Mobile game too. I heard about that shit.
Oh, it's a mobile game?
I think so.
Ha ha ha. I'm relishing it. I knew when I saw that, I was like, you know what's going to break Jose's little soul after he's been sitting here fucking with me this whole recording? Gears pop figure game. What would possess them to make that game? I get the pop figures are popping.
Money.
But who wanted
Money.
a pop figure video game?
I'm sure someone put that idea out there, and they were like, "Oh, we're fucking rolling with that one."
I mean, the Lego games are popular. It makes sense.
Yeah, I guess.
It
How
makes
does that shit work? How do you do anything? Is it like the Lego Movie where they kind of have more, ways to move than just up and down arms, or?
I don't know. Man.
Fuck you, James. Fuck you. This is your fault. Somehow this is gonna be your fault.
No, you know what? It's your fault.
I'm a loyal fan. I played all the games.
That's your problem.
There go my parents again.
They know you're gonna buy everything, you dumb son of a bitch.
Speaking of buying everything,
Oh, they're.
Pokemon Go.
Oh well. So that's not the only Gears game they announced. They announced a Gears Tactics game, which is a Gears RTS.
Jesus.
So we were dead on about that when we were
Right.
talking about it. And they also announced Gears 5,
Good.
which apparently now the Laura Bailey's character from the fourth game is getting superpowers. Based on the voice actress who played the female character.
I'm a
the
loyal
game.
fan. I am a loyal.
You played
fan.
the game. So yeah.
I beat this game.
And Gears 5 will be available with Game Pass at launch. They ended on the
Good. I have to buy it.
they ended on the reveal of Cyberpunk 2077, which
We
is
saw that one coming.
which is the new game from CD Projekt Red, the people who made Witcher. It looks really cool. They didn't show any gameplay for it, but it looks very interesting. I hope it lives up to the promise that it has. It could be like Witcher 3, where it's like, holy fuck, this is amazing. There's so much shit and it's such a wonderful world.
Shit.
Or they could release it and it's like Remember Me, and I will not want to play that game. We're moving into the Bethesda conference. This one's actually kind of short, and they tend to keep it to the point. It starts off with a cute little montage about the devs and other employees who work for Bethesda, and how we're just like you. We love games. We want our workspace to be fun, and it takes.
Please stop sending all those death threats.
Yeah, please stop sending all the death threats. We're real people. At some point, Pete Hines, the CEO of Bethesda, comes out, and he's talking about games and shit, and someone in the crowd goes, "Come on!" Andrew WK comes out
Why?
because he made the theme song for Rage 2. So he's making the music for Rage 2.
Was he also creative mind behind it? Because I can totally fucking see that.
I would imagine a little bit. But so they have the gameplay and they show some Rage 2 shit in the background, and then they bring out the devs for Rage 2. There must have been a teleprompter fuck up, because there was a point where literally both devs are standing on stage just looking at each other like, oh fuck, what do we do? And they're not saying anything. And the crowd just kind of keeps giggling. And so they're just like,
Hey, this is like a Bethesda game.
yeah, and they're trying to like coax the crowd into cheering some more, and it's just like, this is sad. Like, what's going on here right now?
And now presenting.
So they get into the Rage 2 gameplay section. Still not very interesting.
No, I don't.
Not super into it.
No.
Apparently it's an entirely open world. The vehicle combat is similar to Borderlands and Mad Max. They claim the open world is completely seamless. All right. It wasn't just a specific part of the level. They were cutting different parts, but it all looked like it was in-engine. And it looked good. It didn't look bad or anything like that. It's just I'm not particularly interested in that. It's just not a franchise that really carries anything for me. And of all the ones that they're bringing back, this one kind of confuses me.
Yeah.
Could have brought back. I don't know. I would have rather seen them like put all that effort into this Starfield game that they announced, and have that be coming out
they
this year
teased.
or have that be coming out in spring 2019 instead of Rage 2, which is what they announced for it.
All right.
They talked about some Elder Scrolls MMO stuff. Not interested. I get that people like Elder Scrolls Online. I'm very happy for you. I'm sure it's super fun. Not for me.
I don't have friends.
Wow, Melissa, I guess we can go fuck ourselves. They announced Doom Eternal, which is Doom 2, so we were right about that.
Cool.
Also, I was right about the Quake thing.
They brought it back quick.
They finally announced some new stuff for Quake Champions.
Finally, all the Quakers can get their chance in the spotlight.
They announced that it's going to have full esports support with grassroots tournaments and major tournaments across the country. Which Quake was the original esport,
Right.
so that makes sense. Okay, so they got to Prey, the Prey section. Do you remember that came out last year?
I remember it came out, and there it went.
Well, apparently it was very good from the people who played it, and it had enough support to where they announced a new DLC modes.
Okay. I'm sure it was a good game. Here it is, and there it went. I didn't really have anything invested in that game.
The Prey DLC, which is available now, is called
Right.
Moon Crash, and apparently the idea is that it's completely continuous.
Mm-hmm.
So if you die, you just boom, right back into it. Instead of, and I don't really know what that means. That probably means something a lot more to Prey players. They played the Meat Spin song during their DLC announcement, Right Round. You spin me right round. Everybody knows
As
that.
Crash Bandicoot was spinning around.
Everybody knows that's just the Meat Spin song.
Right.
And if you know what Meat Spin is, kids, look it up.
No, please,
don't do
no.
that, children.
Look it up, kids.
No.
They also announced a new mode called Typhon Hunter,
Sure.
which is basically so you know the game from Gmod where you turn.
Those damn typhons. I'm sorry.
So you know the Gmod game where you turn into shit and you have to sit there and hide and pretend the. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I know what you're talking
You know what I'm
about.
talking about. The people who are listening know what I'm talking about too.
Prop hunt.
Prop hunt. There we go. Apparently, this is basically just that, where they're like, all right, it's a hide and seek game, and because you're a mimic, you can turn into anything. So and they literally they're like, you can turn into a banana, like you can turn it because that's a big thing in prop hunt is people will turn into bananas and shit. So it was like, all right, that's pretty cool.
I need a banana for the banana for scale.
So the Wolfenstein devs come out, and they announce Wolfenstein Youngblood, which is set in the 1980s about Blazkowicz's twin daughters that he apparently did not know.
You're excited about this. I don't really.
I just think it's
know.
cool. I think the idea of 1980s fucking Wolfenstein sounds pretty.
Der Wolfenstein. Yeah, that looks
Wolfenstein.
really cool.
Wolfenstein.
It sounds really cool, and it sounds like it's going to be a co-op campaign. I saw something else. It got to the point where there was a lot of people in the living room, so it was kind of hard to stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
But they announced something called Wolfenstein Cyberpilot.
Wasn't it the same thing?
No, I don't think so. Maybe it was. I'm not 100% sure.
No, I think it was two separate things.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was two separate things, and I don't know what Cyberpilot is, but and they didn't show anything for it, so I don't know if it's even close to being out yet. So after that, the big one, Fallout 76. So in the Xbox conference, they announced that it's set in West Virginia, and it's about 4 times the size. It's 4 times the size of Fallout 4.
It looks so cool.
It looks very, very pretty. They announced it's an open world multiplayer survival game, but
Which
it's
I'm
not,
very excited about.
it's not a permadeath survival game. You keep your progression, you keep your characters.
Is it West and East Virginia? Sorry.
There's just a Virginia and then there's a West Virginia.
Okay, cool. I was like, East Virginia doesn't sound right. Why doesn't East Virginia sound right?
And your character is not tied to a particular server. And,
Right.
and you can take your character wherever you want. You're never going to lose your progression with your character.
That's cool.
Yeah. Too many games get up their own ass
They're
with
like,
that
"Ooh,
shit.
We're gonna piss some people off with this online Fallout. But you know what can make it better? You don't lose shit.
You can get blown up as many times as you want.
Oh god,
lose
those
nothing.
fucking nukes.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So yeah, we'll get to that in a second. They're expanding the settlement system as well.
Yeah.
which
I
now-
didn't care much about myself.
Yeah. Did you care much about the settlement system in Fallout 4?
Not really.
Yeah, it wasn't a big deal to me either. And they also announced yeah, you heard it.
Unouted.
Renowned.
They announced photo mode as well. But so the big thing about this is that there's nuclear sites that you can go to, and if you clear them out with your squad, you can then detonate that nuke and send it anywhere on the map and just fuck shit up, completely annihilate.
You don't have to necessarily know who lives there.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to pick it based on like, oh, you're feuding with these people, so you can
Nope.
only shoot them. You can literally fire it anywhere on the map, and it could
You're like, this
Straight
looks
up,
like a nice
straight
spot.
back down.
that honestly is probably the most interesting part of this game to me.
Can you imagine Fallout politics? It's just mutual assurance of destruction, whatever the fuck it's called.
But you know that's so. Here's the thing: they said you can set up your settlements anywhere.
Right.
So that means you can take a nuclear station and then set up your settlement there.
Right.
And literally just hoard the nuke if you wanted to. So that means potentially in servers there could be exactly what you're talking about, where it's a bunch of people sitting on nukes just like, don't you fucking do it. Don't you fucking do it. Like,
It's like the U.S. and North Korea.
yeah, it's
But instead, it would be like Captain Douche Shit, Camp, and Penis USA 620. or
Professor
420.
69.
420.
Yeah.
XX. That looks really interesting. They announced 100% dedicated servers as well, and they announced a beta. They called it the Break It Early test application.
Yep.
And they set it for a November 14th release date.
So beta should be coming soon then.
The beta's probably...
Unless it was the release date for the beta.
Oh, God.
Oh, you guys thought that was the release date for the whole game? Oh,
No.
sorry.
Beta right now, isn't it? Is that what you said?
No, we joked about that. They didn't say anything about that.
I don't think they said it. The beta's out right now. Hold on, let me check.
They said Fallout Shelter. What is it? No, what was it?
The Elder Scrolls game, right? It was available.
Right.
Yeah, they said the new Fallout Shelter games.
No, they're available on different platforms now.
Yeah, they're available on
that
different
was it.
platforms
That's
now.
the
So
shelter.
that's what it was.
There's something that was available like tonight.
Blade. No.
No, I think you said tonight. I'm pretty sure you said they're available
Was
now.
it play?
Shelters.
Shelters,
was
yeah.
available. Yeah. Like downloaded on PS4
Gotcha,
and
yeah.
on Nintendo
Okay,
Switch.
that's right.
There is no release date for the beta.
Okay.
Hold on, let me get back to my notes. I started losing it a little bit. So yeah, Fallout Shelter got announced for the PlayStation 4 and the Switch, available now. And they brought out the new Elder Scrolls game, everybody.
Oh my God.
It's finally here, guys. It's happening.
They brought out a new Elder Scrolls game. It's a mobile game. It's a mobile game for the iPhone that they are boasting console quality for, called Elder Scrolls Blades.
I said this while they were announcing it. I'm going to say it here now. You motherfuckers asked for it. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Okay, we asked for Elder Scrolls 6 specifically, not just
Specifically.
not just like any Elder Scrolls game.
So
Well, you have Blades now, so.
So the idea for Blades is that it's kind of like Fallout Shelter as well, is in that there's a dungeon crawling mode like Elder Scrolls Arena,
Right.
and there's another mode that I think is like PvP, and then there's another mode called Town, and then that's where all your story missions take place, and then that's where all you show up at the Blades Sanctuary, and it's destroyed, and you have to rebuild it.
Oh God.
Ooh, you have to rebuild it.
What a fucked up name Blades is. Can they come up with anything better?
That's the name of the organization in the games, though.
Blades.
The Blades.
Zip.
They're the protectors of
They're the highest city guard,
yeah.
whatever.
Do you fight someone called the
Highest
Razors?
faction.
What was that?
Do you fight someone called the Razors?
Okay. So basically, it's just Fallout Shelter with combat. There is pre-order and early access announced for a free mobile game.
Yep. You gotta get in those lobbies first.
Makes sense.
Just some shit. I don't know.
I don't know, fam. Basically, the crowd is kind of like, yeah, okay, I guess.
Cool.
And then,
And they go, that's the show, everyone. Good night.
well, and they're like, well, we don't usually do this, but we're going to show you some stuff in the future. And I'm like, oh boy.
We weren't going to do this, but then we saw your reaction to Blade, so...
And we had this,
Dragons in space.
we had this lined up just in case. So they announced a new IP called Starfield. Mm-hmm. They did not say what it was at all. All they showed was a little teaser of something flying through space and then causing a giant explosion.
Elder Scrolls in space! Fallout in space!
I don't know. It could be interesting. They said it's single player, so who knows. And then they dropped a teaser for Elder Scrolls 6.
It looked
A screenshot.
absolutely stunning.
No, it was moving. It was not just a screenshot. It went over peaks and valleys.
Yeah. Beautiful peaks and valleys
So
that I'll probably see again in like 3 years.
yeah, if that. You know what? Honestly, here's what I think they're gonna do. They've been working on this at least since 2015. They have to have been. There's no way they announced this now, because again, Bethesda is king of. Oh, by the way, this is available this fall.
Right.
That's true.
So that means next E3, they're probably gonna be like, "Hey guys, remember those 2 things that we said were far away? We lied."
So what scares
They
me...
were available yesterday.
Right. You fuckers were too cut up. What scares me that they said that it was next gen. And you kind of blew that off, but I'm still a little like, I hope they're not waiting for like the PS5 or the Xbox 2 or
The Xbox 2.
or the 2 box or whatever you want to fucking call it.
They're not doing that.
They did say next gen though.
Right.
Because they still call this gen next gen. People debate all the time whether it's called current gen or it's called next. So they still.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying I hope that that's not the case.
I don't think they skip the Elder Scrolls entirely if they're going to be releasing 2 Fallout games exactly like they did in the previous generation. That makes
Right.
no sense to me. And that's the only reason why I don't think it's going to be next gen, is because they're following the exact pattern they did last generation, where they released a Fallout game, a numbered Fallout game, and then they released a spin-off that everyone is probably going to play and love more than the numbered game. Depending on how good the story is, who knows. They did announce that there's a solo mode
Right.
for Fallout 76, so it's not necessarily set in stone that you have to play with people. But you will run across people and have to shoot them and shit.
You don't have to be social.
Yeah, you don't have to be social. So I don't think they skip the Elder Scrolls. I don't think they skip the Elder Scrolls. If they do, I will be fucking shocked. Though, to your point, Microsoft did say that they are at work on the next Xbox console. They didn't announce it, and they weren't like, we're going to talk about it next E3. They just said, we just want you guys to know we are working on it. It is a thing. But they announced it like right at the end, and they were just like, that's it.
That's all we got for now.
That's all we got. We're not going to talk about it
What
anymore.
happened with Dragon Age 4? Like there's little teasers on Twitter.
Really?
You know what'd be fucked up though?
And they're like they got a little bit of the storyline out and like the plot
Interesting.
idea and like available companions, just a smidge,
I don't know.
but not enough to be at E3 apparently.
It's probably next year, I would imagine, after Anthem.
Yeah,
'Cause
that
I
would make
think-
sense.
Because Anthem is, I think, another early 2019 game.
You know what would be fucked up?
Huh.
Is if Elder Scrolls 6 does skip this console generation, because that would mean there was no original Elder Scrolls game for this generation.
Don't do this to me.
See, I feel like you want this to happen for some reason, and
Look,
you're trying to
I
speak it
don't.
into existence.
I don't. I
'Cause
really
I remember
don't.
you didn't like Skyrim.
I like Skyrim. What the fuck are you talking
You
about?
no, I remember having discussions
I
back
love
in the day
Skyrim.
of you saying you did not like Skyrim.
Excuse me?
I love Skyrim. I don't know what you're talking about.
Burn the
I'm in a
traitor.
fucking gang. Look at this.
Fucking Melissa starts throwing up signs on.
Oh my god.
Man, it's just
Shoots dragons in my hands.
makes an S with her fingers. How the fuck did you do that? So yeah, that's it for the Bethesda conference.
That's it for the conferences so far.
Yeah, for the conferences so far. So we're gonna cut this down a little bit because there's sections that we're gonna have to cut out. So we'll get into predictions for the other two, or we're not gonna get into all of them. We're just gonna do the big two. Because
Nintendo and Sony.
Because we don't know what's going to be at Square, and we have a decent idea of what's going to be at Ubisoft. So there's really no point in
I
going.
will
into
say
those.
Ubisoft, another Mario game.
You think another Raving Rabbids Mario game?
I think so.
You know what I think?
That I'm completely percent right, and you should give me praise. Yes.
I give. You always make me out to be the bad guy. I don't know if they announced that so soon.
I don't see why not. The first one did fine, I think.
The first one did good, but
And it's good.
But again, why would they literally just released it last year. Why would they announce a new one so soon? That leaves a bad taste in people's mouths.
Because they need it.
What do they need it for?
The Switch needs it.
The Switch doesn't need anything.
I feel like the Switch needs like big platform games, like big, company name games.
But they already have a lot of big name games. I don't understand.
Right, they have come and gone.
But okay, we'll save this discussion for after Nintendo's conference.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's kind of a weird argument to make at this point because they've already had huge games and people are anticipating what Nintendo's fall lineup is going to be.
I'm just saying those games have already run their course in popularity, in my opinion. Like they've already kind of, because it's been what, a year since Zelda, almost, and a year since Mario.
Not even a year since Mario. Mario came out in October.
Well, in gaming years, come on.
What? In gaming years?
I feel like people just fucking, all right, I beat it. Next thing, please.
I think that you may be speaking for yourself, brother.
I might be.
I think you might be speaking for yourself a little bit on that one. I don't think people are.
Look, not to say that Nintendo doesn't have really good titles. I'm just saying.
I think it's
that I think it would be a good idea to have another one.
It's way too soon to announce that. It literally just came out last year, or I don't even think it came out last year. I think it came out at the top of this year.
Well, I mean, to announce it, it's E3. They can announce it and be like, all right, it's coming in fucking 10, 15 years. Fuck you guys.
I don't know. So for Sony, they already talked about some of the stuff that's going to be there. So I'm just going to talk about some of the things I would like to see there. I would like a Jak and Daxter remaster collection announced.
Or something to that.
Something like that. That would be cool. I'll take a remake of just the original one, honestly, if they wanted to give it that much time and care.
Right.
Yeah. If they're gonna do the remastered, they might as well just do all of them.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying because the rumor flying around is the company that did the remaster for the Uncharted games is working on a huge remake for a classic PlayStation title, and they haven't said what it is yet.
Parappa the Rapper.
A lot of people I'm seeing a lot of people throw around two ideas. They're either going to remake Siphon Filter, which is an old stealth game from 989 Studios, which went on to become Santa Monica, basically, the studio that made God of War. Mm-hmm. And I've also seen people throw out the idea of a remake of Metal Gear.
A remake of Metal Gear.
The original Metal Gear.
Huh.
Interesting.
And I would be kind of into that because it's been a long time since they've redone the originals. And when they when they did the Twin Snakes and all the GameCube ports back in the day, they did full remakes of them. So it would
GameCube ports, really?
Yeah, they did a full remake of the original Metal Gear for the GameCube. And gave it like separate endings that you could run into as well. Like it was pretty interesting. It was called Twin Snakes. So I'd be into a Metal Gear remake.
Why are you fingering your ear over there?
Stop.
Hi, my name is Lobie.
I also had a brand new Ratchet and Clank game. Is I think a possibility, and another Marvel game announced at the Sony conference.
I could see that.
Those are my predictions. Oh, I also had PS2, PS3 backwards compatibility announcement.
Like I said, that's never going to happen.
All right. So you said you were talking about this before, and maybe you can explain it a little better. This was on the other E3 predictions thing that we did,
right?
The legendary lost tapes. You were saying that you don't think Sony makes money off of that stuff, and that's why they don't do it. But I said that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me because Xbox does it, and Nintendo is working on it at the very least for the Switch. We know they are, and the Virtual Console has been a big thing for a really long time.
Okay.
So I don't understand why Sony wouldn't do it. What the hang-up is? So do you have thoughts on that beyond?
No, I mean I don't think as a company I don't think they see it as a smart move to do backwards compatibility. because they have no money in it for themselves. Unless they're going to do digital releases, at that point, that makes sense to them.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, I thought you were saying like disc.
Oh, no.
Did I tell you guys what happened with Dragon Age 2?
No, what?
I bought it for 360, not knowing it wasn't backwards compatible on the Xbox One.
Oh.
And so I ended up buying it for PC and playing it. And then literally the day after it was announced that Dragon Age 2 was backwards compatible on Xbox One, I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, it would be impossible.
So-
It would be impossible to do disc backwards compatibility for PlayStation 2 games. They're too old.
Yeah.
It would be impossible to do that. So you're right about that. But there's no reason why they shouldn't have a digital marketplace for their
Yeah,
games. There's
no.
Okay.
there's no reason whatsoever.
That I can see. I'm sorry. I apologize. I guess we were on two different wavelengths.
Yeah, because
there.
when you said, "Oh, they don't make any money off of that," what are you talking about? What are you?
That is my bad. Because no, I sincerely thought that you wanted to put old ass disc in a PS4. I'm like, I don't think.
Like, what?
I mean, I don't see why that wouldn't work, but I don't see why they would do that as a company. You know what I mean?
Well, to do it like Xbox kind of had to do it that way because their backs were against the wall, and so they made it so. Yeah, if you have the discs, guess what? You can just throw them in. You don't have to repurchase your games.
Do you feel like Xbox sometimes gets a bad rap for no reason?
No, because Xbox shoots themselves in the foot all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in this generation. And near the Xbox 360 generation, they were getting kind of arrogant too, where it was just like they'd come out and they'd just be like, "Yeah, we're Xbox," and their conferences would be lackluster, wouldn't be very interesting. Like they would have good games that would come out,
Yeah.
but like their conferences were really boring.
They didn't give a shit about presentation.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit about presentation. They didn't really care about the crowd or anything like
Some
that.
people are visual, okay?
Yeah, some people need it. But I feel like Xbox gets a bad rap because all right, so look at the original Xbox. Big, expensive system. With the exception of Halo, name another Xbox original exclusive. And Fable, with the exception of those two. Go ahead.
Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set Radio was on Sega first.
Fuck.
Melissa, you got any?
Moving on.
I have no
Let's
idea.
go. Moving on.
Exactly. So they didn't have games then. They had games on the 360, but it wasn't even like exclusives necessarily. You know what I mean?
What was that party game? Forza Frenzy or
Fusion
something like
Frenzy?
that?
Fusion Frenzy was dope. And I did bring up Kung Fu Chaos earlier. I wanted a Brute Force remake. I was really hoping that they were going to announce a Brute Force remake, but it didn't happen. I'm very disappointed with that. So do either of you have predictions for the Sony conference?
For the Sony conference, I don't know, Melissa, you go first.
You know, I didn't really give much thought into it because I don't fucking play on the PlayStation ever.
Melissa drops the mic and walks away.
I don't play on the PlayStation. I'm PC Master Race.
I could see like Parappa the Rapper, not something that I want.
Parappa
'cause
the Rapper already got remade.
It's another game then. I don't know. I don't. It's not something that I want. I'm just saying that's something that I can do.
I'm not trying to. I'm just saying that they already did that one.
And then, fuck. Let me go ahead. I lost my train of thought.
Another prediction I have on here is they announced another Resident Evil game, but it's not the Resident Evil 2 remake.
Resident Evil 8.
It's not a remake at all.
So we're going to move to Nintendo now and make some predictions about that one.
Before we get started, did you hear that Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or whatever is you have to have the motion controllers to play?
I did hear about that.
And that there's no battling wild Pokemon?
I didn't hear that there was no battling wild Pokemon. I didn't hear that. But I'm not terribly surprised. They're still gonna have the battle system in it where you battle other trainers,
Right.
and there's still gonna be gyms and shit.
No one knows how that's going to work, though, yet.
But here's the thing: these aren't the full.
You know, I bitch about this thing, but I'm probably still going to fucking buy it.
You're absolutely gonna buy it.
I don't know what the fuck.
You're absolutely gonna buy it. You love Pokemon. I love Pokemon. I'm at least gonna get one of these.
No, right. Why would you get both? There's no reason to get both.
Yeah. Especially.
By the way, Eevee is trash. Fuck everyone.
Wow. Die.
Oh my god.
Die.
That's in my
right.
keychain.
Die.
Jerk. I do have it.
See, even you forget Eevee.
She's in my car, okay?
So I think they're gonna announce the online service for Switch tomorrow, and they're gonna give it a concrete date.
I could probably see that.
I think they're gonna pair it with Fortnite. and they're going to be like Fortnite and the online service drop on the same day.
Get this.
I can see that.
Nintendogs.
Hey, now it's a new Nintendogs game. You can pat the screen now. It
Yeah.
feels like real fur. We swear.
Nintendo Ducks.
I think Animal Crossing gets announced and it's available August for the Switch.
Yeah, you said that.
And I also think there's going to be a new Mario Kart and a new Star Fox game.
New Mario Kart, really?
I think
that game has kind of run its course too. It was on the Wii U. So.
yeah, exactly. It was a port from the Wii U. I think they're going to want a new Mario game with that new polish on it, or a new Mario Kart game with that new polish on it. I also think because Star Fox Zero did not do so well on the Wii U.
What was that?
It was me.
Oh, I thought you were like crying
No,
or some shit.
I was just sniffing. I was expecting you to say something there.
I
Star Fox Zero did not do well on the Wii U, so I feel like it would be a good time to.
I'm not a big fan of Star Fox, anyways.
I love the Star Fox games. Star Fox 64 is great.
We're good. Just I don't know.
I need space combat games in my life. There's not enough space combat games. Like, there's not enough aerial combat
There
games.
are,
period.
but they're the ones that are really fucking complicated, and you need a full fucking setup for mouse and keyboard, and
You got the fucking gear shifts and shit. Obviously, Smash will be announced, and we'll get a release
yeah.
date. I don't know if they do any new characters though. I don't know if they show. Well, now honestly, since they didn't show any at the Xbox panel, which is what some people were predicting, because they think a lot of people think Western characters are going to finally appear in Smash in this new one.
Don't do it.
I think it is. It'll be the old school mascots. It'll probably be like Spyro or Crash or some shit.
Okay, do that.
okay, do that.
But-
that I'll allow.
But I don't think they show any.
That's just good.
I don't think they show any new characters. I think Metroid 4 is going to get a release date. Metroid Prime 4, there we go. It's going to get a release date.
Metroid Forearm Cannon. That's the official name of it, by the way. Calling it now, Metroid Forearm.
Metroid Forearm.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can clearly tell who was well rested for this one.
Fuck you. I worked all day.
Hey, I'm not shitting on you. I'm just saying. So yeah, do you have any predictions about the Nintendo conference? Really, either of you?
I could see a new IP.
You think a new IP, huh? From
yeah, I think a
Nintendo?
new IP. Mm-hmm.
From Nintendo.
That would be
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Sushi something just came out. I can or is
It's 2018.
Sushi Strike,
anything
I think.
happen.
Oh yeah, Sushi Strike. That's right.
and then they had the Lincoln steampunk game or some shit
Do they already
on
have
the
Cooking
3DS.
Mamas?
Listen, this is real shit that I'm
There is
talking
anymore-
about here.
I don't think there's a Cooking Mama
Oh my
anymore.
god!
I would
there's a
love.
Cooking Mama.
I would love a Cooking Mama on the Switch. You want to know why? Because you could sit there and fucking actually chop shit with the fucking Joy-Cons. That would be
Dude.
so filthy. I would love a
Alright.
Cooking Mama game.
You know what? No. Cookie Mama Party.
Oh shit!
Ooh, like
You have fucking 4 Joy-Cons.
like Overcooked. Oh, that would be nasty.
Overcooked stresses me the fuck out.
Overcooked.
Not just that, but you have the 4 Joy-Cons, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you go up against someone who just like chopping shit or mixing shit. I could see that shit.
Oh, that would be so nasty.
That'd be so good.
So do you have any more predictions before we get to I said what I said?
Pokemon, the real RPG, is gonna get
You think so?
a name at least.
You think it's gonna get a name?
Yeah.
I think it's just gonna be called Pokemon.
You think it's just gonna be Pokemon?
I think it's just gonna be Pokemon, and it'll be the traditional font like it usually is.
I think it's gonna be
Pokemon.
Pokemon. It prints money.
Here's what I think it's going to be, though. I think it's going to be red, blue, and yellow all in the same thing.
I can see that.
And maybe even
So
your
brown.
with the,
Pokemon shit.
and I think,
Now you can smell it.
and I think maybe, and you'll have the ability to go to all the regions if you want to. So you can go to Kanto, Johto.
Oh my god, that'd be really cool.
That would be so cool.
I would have to get a Switch.
I think that's what's going to happen with that one. What do you think is going to happen with it?
I think if the RPG comes out, I think it's going to be the next generation. I don't think they're going to do a remake or anything for it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I thought you were going to say they were going to hold off until the next Nintendo. I was like, why do you
Yeah, Nintendo Switch 2.
why do you keep trying to push all these awesome games away from us? What the fuck is wrong with
Like,
you?
you're not allowed.
No, I think it's going to be the next generation of Pokemon.
I think they're going to save that for the 3DS.
Either that or they're going to do something like DX, where it's
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean, like a separate story
That'd be interesting.
that doesn't really affect anything.
That would be
Because they're already remaking it with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, so why would they double dip in that shit?
because that's the shit that people love. I mean, be honest. Past Johto,
So,
who really stands for
me.
any of the other Pokemon regions?
I fucking love Hoenn.
You,
Hoenn has a special place in my heart. I don't know why, but it does.
because Ho is part of your name.
Listen, fucker. I can name all 150 Pokemon in Kanto, but for whatever reason, Hoenn just kind of brings nostalgia to me. I don't know why.
Fair enough. What do you think, Melissa?
I love all of them.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying it'll be like, at its core, it will be a remake of the first three, but you can still go to all the regions.
Yeah.
Like, you can go and collect all the Pokemon. That's, honestly, I think this is going to be like 100 hours.
I don't think that they would introduce like a new generation of Pokemon.
You don't
on
think
the
so?
Switch. I don't think they would do that.
You think they would save it for the 3DS?
Yeah.
Really?
Because that's where that shit lives.
I think
But-
they want to bring the kind of nostalgia to the Switch.
To it. Yeah. But it's also the Switch is like new beginnings, really. Look at Zelda, look at Odyssey.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean?
Well, they could do something completely different with it, and who knows?
Right.
Like, it could be really out there. We'll have to see. We won't be able to find out until Monday.
You're actually
But
a
yeah,
member
I don't
of
think
Team
we're
Rocket.
gonna. What's
I
that?
said you're actually a member of Team Rocket.
Oh, shit. You know,
Yeah.
honestly, I wouldn't be against them doing away with that aspect of Pokemon. The team.
It's a side story, really.
But it's not, it doesn't go it never goes anywhere.
It really doesn't.
Well, it's what really drives the story. Like,
Is it though?
yeah.
Because the story isn't about, oh, we got to stop Team Rocket. It's, oh, I'm becoming the greatest Pokemon trainer.
No. But that's what drives you, kind of, because. Well, it's not. It's like the B story, really, because in the original Pokemon, Giovanni was the team leader, Rocket,
Right.
leader, whatever, and was a gym leader.
See, my thing is, I would much rather they double down on the rival concept. And just the B story is your rival that you run into along the way.
I feel like that's what they're gonna do with Pokemon Let's Go.
Instead of it being, the B story being another team of some kind.
Did
because
you guys ever play Pokemon Dungeon?
Pokemon. Oh,
Yes, I fucking love Pokemon.
I never
Dungeon.
played that, but he always talked about
You're
him.
just spinning the fucking stylus around and around. That goddamn Charizard.
Oh my god. Dungeons was fucking impossible. I remember that shit.
Yeah, no kidding.
I had to stop playing it because I was like, fuck this.
It took
I'm out.
me so long to get the Charizard the first time.
In Dungeons, you have to beat the Pokemon first,
Oh, okay.
and then they agree to be like a friend. And sometimes they don't even agree to it. They don't even give you the option.
Oh, you just beat him
You
into
just-
submission?
you just kill them, and then you gotta come back and try again, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. That's kind of fucked up. So, we've reached a portion of the prediction show that's called I Said What I Said. And basically, this is the point where we go around, we'll do
Just go ham.
3 each. Where it's off the wall, any prediction you want, whatever you dream of showing up will show up. So we're going to start with Jose. We're
You're gonna start with me.
going to start with you.
You motherfucker. How Pokemon. What the fuck was I gonna say? I was kind of hoping for the anime fighting game, and I kind of got it. So
You did get it.
I'm stoked about that, even though it was Def Jam or whatever. but
The idea he pitched originally was so you remember the series Def Jam Vendetta? Have you ever heard of that? So it was a series in the early 2000s where it was the idea was it was a wrestling game with rappers. So you had like Method Man. It was fucking awesome. It was it was so fucking cool. And the idea he had was it was Def Jam X.
like anime,
like
basically.
anime, basically. So it's like anime.
like Shaolin Jump almost.
Oh my God.
Well, no, Shaolin Jump.
Yeah,
really.
so it could be Def Jam X Shonen, and it's
Yeah,
just
Shonen
like, and so it's all just like Shonen characters and like action characters basically against these rappers, against New Age rappers, which would be fucking filthy because New Age
Right.
rappers look like anime characters.
They really do.
But yeah, so I got that game. I think I would want another Pokemon fighting game.
Really, another Pokken game or
Another Pokemon, but I would want it to be a 2D fighting game.
interesting? I might have.
I don't know why.
I might have to one up you when it gets around to me.
You son of a bitch! How dare you? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna say something. Do you want to do like 1, 1, 1, 1?
Yeah, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Okay, cool.
So it would be your turn now.
Oh.
Whatever you want, your wildest dreams.
In a world full of imagination. I don't know how the song goes.
I'm gonna be quite honest. I don't really care about anything else other than the fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 has a release date.
So Kingdom Hearts 65 divided by 2.
The year of dreams has been completed for Melissa.
So,
Kingdom Hearts Battle Royale.
oh my god!
That'd be awesome. Oh shit. So for
What are
me,
you doing to Sora?
Sora!
no. Roxas just fucking carves his way out of Sora's chest. So for me, you mentioned a Pokemon fighting game.
Okay.
So here's my thought. Pokemon Stadium 3.
Oh, yeah.
God, that's what it was called because you guys mentioned that.
Pokemon Stadium 3.
I could see that.
I would be so down with a Pokemon Stadium 3. That'd be so fucking cool.
We haven't had a Pokemon game like that in a while.
We really haven't.
It was Pokemon Revolutions, I think, on the Wii.
Pokken tried, but I wasn't really interested in it.
No. Well, no. But like turn-based. Because
Yeah, yeah,
Pokken is a fighting game, right?
Yeah.
But like Stadiums is turn-based, you know.
Yeah, and that's basically just like squad up. You have all 151 or whatever you want it to be, however many now, and you just pick your team and you go at it. And that's honestly to me, that's the funnest part of Pokemon right there. It's going
If
up.
we ever get the AV cables, we should play the original Pokemon Stadium.
We will
and-
kill each other. Do you not remember how bad it
Yeah.
used to get back? We will fucking
Yeah,
kill
'cause you
each
don't know
other.
shit about
My
Pokemon.
nephew loves the Pokemon Stadium game, and
'Cause they're
one time he asked John to play with him, and John just completely whooped his ass with no mercy. And my nephew was crying, and he still like went up to John and like shook his hand after it was done. I was like,
Wow.
what a respectable young lad.
What a
That's right.
champ!
That's what I did,
He
James.
was
Anyways.
like 4 years old.
So here's what happened, and this will always be the argument when it comes to Pokemon shit. We might cut this part out, but we can't argue about this. It makes no fucking sense that an electric type does not hurt a ground type. Because if a fucking bolt of electricity strikes the ground, it leaves a goddamn scorch mark and can set things on fire. It does not make any fucking sense
Yeah, I agree with that.
that ground types are unaffected by electric types. It makes no sense whatsoever. We are moving on. Time for your second.
Listen, buddy.
Time for your second prediction.
Ground yourself. Let's see here. PlayStation Battle Royale 2. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I think so. I just want to see your reaction. Fuck, man. Horizon or Forza Horizon Pod Racing.
Forza Horizon Pod Racing. Ooh.
Yeah. Either that or like Starships, you know?
I would just take Horizon Pod Racing. That would be fucking filthy. Like the Forza people make an open world like Star Wars exploring game where you can go from like planet to planet. That would be so filthy. Melissa, do you have no other predictions?
You know what I would really like to see?
Okay.
Which wouldn't really make sense because it's not quite the anniversary. But there's a Pac-Man 20th anniversary game, and it was like an RPG, kind of.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
I know what you're talking about.
I love
Yeah,
another one of those. It was
know what you're
so
talking about.
much fun.
they made a series like that for Frogger too, where it was like Frogger platforming.
Yeah.
Where it was, yeah. I totally know what you're talking about. That would be
It
pretty
was
cool.
so good.
Another one for me. This is another Nintendo pick. F-Zero Returns.
Yep.
That is the big dream for me. Is F-Zero has got. I swear to God, if I hit 25 years old and there has not been another F-Zero game within the meantime, I'm gonna fly to Japan and I'm gonna serve Miyamoto the hands.
Good luck.
You're gonna cut off your hands in front of him.
No, I'm two-piece. I have to fight this man. It has to be done. He's holding it up on purpose. It's because he hates me.
It's a personal vendetta.
It's a personal vendetta because he knows how much I love F-Zero. Jose, your final prediction.
My final prediction.
Oh boy.
Kingdom Hearts 4.
And that's the fourth one before the third game's even fucking out.
You know what took us so long?
Kingdom Hearts 4 available today.
What? On the third one.
You sons of bitches.
Introducing Pokemon.
Oh God, I have one.
Kingdom Hearts 4. It's all Pirates of the Caribbean levels. No. Oh man.
Neopets, the Darkest Fairy 2.
I was waiting for it. I knew it. Oh my god.
Fuck, I had Neopets.
All right, so here's my final one, and it's not a barn burner, but it's one I would be happy to see if they announced it. I would be extremely happy if they announced the new BioShock.
There's going to be a new one?
They reported some time ago there was a different studio visit, and then the dude who was writing that piece was like, oh yeah, by the way, I stopped over to Ken Levine's new studio where they're making the new BioShock game. Yeah, I can't talk about that. And literally just like basically talked about how he saw the new BioShock, but he can't talk about it. And it's just like, you son of a bitch.
Oh my God.
Say it. Say
You
it.
son of a bitch.
That's so cool.
So yeah, if they announce the new BioShock at the Sony press conference,
Have they seen anything for the new Avengers
Wow.
game?
no, that'll be at Square.
That would be a Square. Okay.
That'll be at the Square. The Avengers game will be at Square. I think Square is also going to announce another Marvel game there as well, because apparently there's a Guardians of the Galaxy game in the works.
BioShock is
Yeah.
going to be so beautiful.
Oh my god! Especially if well, see here's
Where do you go from there? The stars?
BioShock
Yeah.
in space.
Yeah.
Because imagine going to the
moon.
lighthouse and then the lighthouse fucking shoots a light, takes you up to space.
Just a fucking light beam.
You know what? I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if they just remade the original and went back to Rapture too.
Yeah.
I'd be cool with that. And then they maybe tried to tie it into BioShock Infinite a little bit more.
You know what we need to play?
Huh.
That DLC for BioShock 3. I've never played
Oh,
it.
you never played it?
No.
Pretty good. It's very, very good. We will have to give that a play. So that was the E3, the first E3 episode. We're gonna try to get this edited and out as quick as we can. We may just throw it up as it is,
Right.
just for the sake of getting it out. So bear with us if that's what we decide to do. We'll warn you ahead of time. Thank you very much for joining us today. This was the After School Special. As usual, I'm James.
I'm Melissa.
I'm Jose.
And y'all come back now. We'll be back in a couple days talking about Sony and Nintendo, and the other third-party conferences.
See ya.
See you guys.
Or at least we'll try.
Get fucking Eeyore over here. Good God.
Well, I guess.